and I need peace. Take me home. Take me home. Take me Sometimes life weighs me down. I try to press on, but every time I turn around, it seems like I'm up against the wall. My life's upside down. I need to rest away from all life's mess in your secret place. Say there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused, and I need peace. Take me to your secret place. Take me to your secret place. Take me to your secret
Hello. We're live, y'all. I hope y'all are having a fantastic evening and you enjoyed your Labor Day. Hello. Comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching. I am so excited to get into it with you all this evening. And so we're taking it back to how I first began my lives, when it was just me and y'all getting it in on different topics. And so tonight our topic is actually about caring for elderly parents or grandparents, being a caregiver of someone who is an elderly parent. Like, it is so important, especially if you're dealing with someone with Alzheimer's or dementia. So if you're dealing with someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, there's a couple of different things that you have to do. And so I actually had gotten a few people who were asking questions, or I saw a couple of Facebook posts of people who were really struggling with this topic. And I had a couple messages on Boxer, and one of my mentees actually is dealing with taking care of her mother, who's a little sickly. And so I was like, listen, I have so much knowledge on this topic, and you never know why you go through what you go through. You never know what the Lord has in store for you. You never know why you're going through the trials when you're going through it. And so I now understand and believe that I was going through it because I was meant to help someone else. That I was meant to share with you all some of the knowledge and the expertise, quite honestly, that I have gained over the years of taking care. So a little history on why I feel qualified to talk to you all this evening on this topic. And if you have other topic suggestions, please do type them in the comments. Say hello, say hey. I see we got some viewers, but y'all haven't commented yet. Y'all know I love the comments. It gives me energy. So I need to know you're here and watching. If you have a question, type it. If you have a comment, type it. And just say hello so I know that you're watching. And if you allow StreamYard to show your likeness, your picture and your name will show up as well. And I know a lot of people watch the replays later. It surprises me every time after I get off live that within a couple of hours, I have over 1,000 views, literally. And so hashtag replay. If you're watching later, hashtag replay. If you're new to my channel and you don't know who I am Inez K Jones. And that's at Inez K Jones on all social media platforms. Hey, Karen. Yes. Thank you for tuning in, girl. If you have a question, go ahead and feel free to type it in. And so I am really excited to have you all here so that you can share. And so if you're not following me, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and click the like button, click the bell if you're watching on YouTube, because we're streaming in multiple places right now. And I am on Twitter, Instagram, and all kinds of Facebook pages, okay? So you can follow me at those pages. Hey, Cordero, let's go. C2E in the building. And he's actually going to be one of my guests next week. Y'all, we're getting it in on the topic of courting and dating with the men and the women next week. Don't miss it. Hello, Layla. Important topic. Thanks. You are so welcome, honey. You are so welcome. And so I am super duper excited to kind of just dive into this with you all. And so I have a tendency to talk fast. I hope y'all can keep up. Or if you're watching later, you can pause me and press replay. But I believe that this is something that a lot of times I think people are struggling with silently, right? Because it's almost as if you feel like other people don't understand if they're not taking care of someone who is elderly or even just sickly, period, right? And they might not be elderly. You just might be a caregiver for them. And so let me tell you a few things that I have learned. And so first and foremost, it is direly important that you get your paperwork in order. And I did a financial nest, get your financial nest in order live before and shared some of these things, but I'm gonna share it again because it's super important. And when you're dealing with someone who requires almost 24/7 care or majority of the time care, you have to take precautions and you have to take a lot of different steps. And so I'm gonna go through the paperwork first, and then we'll get into the funny stories and the tips and tricks. And hello, Sarah. Oh, there we go. Listen, y'all check Jasmine out. If you need some pastries, you know, if you ain't on the diet, she got you covered. And so, okay, back to what you need. So first and foremost, a lot of people don't understand or realize that you need the power of attorney for the person you're caring for. And there are multiple kinds of power of attorney. There's power of attorney for your health, okay? And in different states, there's different rules. Some states mandate, like Illinois mandates that you have to have at least only one person can be a power of attorney for health. Whereas in Nevada, you can have multiple people on for health, right? And so find out your state's rules, because I know we have people watching from all over. And so you got to have the power of attorney of health for the person, okay? Next, you have to have the power of attorney for their property and finances. And I don't care if they don't own a thing. You still need this document. You still need this document. Why? Because this allows you to be able to take care of their bills for them, right? To be able to access things to help them pay for the stuff that they can no longer do for themselves. Just the adulting that we all do on the regular that they will need a little help with. The other thing that I realize a lot of people don't understand is that the power of attorney dies with the person. And we're not wishing death on anyone, but we have to be real and we have to know that there are times where you really have to prepare and plan. So this is all just in preparation, right? And so because the power of attorney dies with the person, that means you have to actually get what's called the executor of the estate. And it's a legal document. Any, trust attorney or lawyer that deals with family law or documents can help you. And I can put some suggestions in the comments later. I've given a shout out to Sahara Bell and Linda Crane before, who are both fantastic attorneys, okay? But you definitely need to have the executor of the estate. And it sounds like you are, like, oh, well, they don't got no estate. They weren't rich. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because if you're not named the executor of the estate and the power of attorney and the power of attorney for the property dies with that person, now you're in probate court after they pass. And that's not a place you really want to be, okay? Because it's elongated. It'll take away some of the money. Like, it's just not the one thing you want to do when you are mourning the loss of a loved one, right? And so just prepare in advance. The other thing I find that people miss out on is that the person who's elderly and sick should not own anything anymore, okay? What you have to do is you have to transfer all of their things into what's called a trust, okay? And there's different kinds of trusts. There's public trust, there's private trust. I won't get into all that. But a trust. And then you, as the power of attorney for finances, would also be the trustee, okay? The reason for this is because if you put their assets and things into a trust ahead of time, then if they did make a little bit of change, now at least they can possibly qualify for help. They can qualify for Medicaid. They can qualify for Medicare. Okay. And that's how you get help, because at the end of the day, no one can do it all by themselves. You have got to have help. And you would think that sometimes the help is going to be family, but that's not always the case. That's just not always the case. And so I want you to know, hello, Cheryl. Yes. Oh, I know you know. She takes care of her mother. So I know you know. And so with your paperwork, we're going to get through the paperwork because that's the nitty gritty. And then we'll get into some of the tips that I have for you all that I've learned. And so the trust is important, to have a trust, right? And then also to have a designated trustee and then an alternate trustee and a backup power of attorney. You need backups for everything so that in the event that you pass before that person, someone else is already prepared, right? Or at least listed to take over, and then they can accept or decline at the time. And so these are the most important documents, and that's why I wanted to say it first and foremost and get it out there, because a lot of people miss this part. And then they wait until it's, not too late, but it might be too late to be able to qualify for Medicaid if you didn't do it ahead of time. And so my grandfather, may he rest in peace, he had Alzheimer's, and he was a millionaire. However, he still got help from Medicaid 3 days a week. I had someone who came to the house while I was in grad school working on Masters of Education in Spanish for K through 12. I am bilingual and certified to teach. And I needed that help. And so thank goodness that he knew to do that in advance. But most people don't. Most people don't. Now, the other thing that's really, really, really important that a lot of people drop the ball on, and it is called a long-term care insurance policy. And I'm going to tag my girl Iris Gonzalez, and there's a couple other insurance people I know that I'll tag later that can help you all with these things. But that could save a lot of money. And a lot of people do not opt for this part of insurance. And so a long-term care insurance policy, basically what it is if you ever require 24/7 care at any time, you have to be able to afford 1 full year where you pay for the services out of pocket, or the person who's your power of attorney or trustee pays out of pocket for you for 1 full year. And then after that, it takes over paying for the caregiving for your loved one for the rest of their life. So it's, if you ever need it, it could really come in handy. And quite honestly, my grandmother, she thought of almost everything, but that was the one thing she didn't think of. And she ended up needing 24/7 care. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but 24/7 care, when you have to pay out of pocket for someone to come in your home 24/7 and live, I'm talking about that's a whole salary. Okay, that's a good few grand going out the door a month, right? And so I learned a lot the hard way, but thank goodness that I am, able to hopefully save someone else a headache later on that might be dealing with this situation. And so, okay, so that's the nitty gritty. That's the paperwork. If I think of anything else, I'll add it. Now we'll get into the actual caring for an elderly person. So the first thing I want to recommend is that you have to remember that as much as that person needs you, they need the best you. They need the healthy you. They need the you that is not resentful of taking care of them. They need the you that is not angry that you are having to weigh the burden on your shoulders. They need the you that is able to just be grateful for the time. And a lot of times, honest to God, it can feel like a curse. It can feel like a curse and not a blessing. But remember that the Lord never puts more on you than you can bear. And remember that everything happens for a reason. And even if you don't see it or know it right now, it'll come to light later. And you'll know why God, put this on you, right? And so the first thing I'll say is make sure to take care of you. You have to take care of the whole you, your body, your physical and mental, okay? Your mental is so important. You got to have peace. You have to have peace. You have to have time for yourself. I don't care if it's taking a staycation for, a weekend in a hotel, or if it's just going to a friend's house where you can be away from home, whatever it is for you. Or even if it's just watching a movie for a couple of hours, just something where you're just not bothered. You can soak in the tub. You can go get a massage. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you have to take that time for you. And if you are stressing mentally, get some help. Talk to a counselor. It is okay. All right. Because we all have things that we need to work through at times. And so that's my most important tip. Because if you fall, then everything falls with you. This person is like a baby. It's like a baby infant, or they are like a baby infant who's dependent on you for everything. I'm talking about everything, right? And so now that is not easy, because at least with a child, you can tell a child to sit down. You can tell a child to just, quit acting bad, if they just put them in a corner if they being bad. But when you're dealing with an adult who's used to adulting, who doesn't even realize that they're sick, you get a little kind of attitude. It's like a grown-up kid now. And so I find that, first of all, taking care of someone 24/7 is a labor of love. Secondly, don't expect to do it all yourself. You have to get help. Now, help. How does help come? Help could be your family, but I'm going to keep it real with y'all right now, okay? And hear me out your good ear. Don't depend on them. Don't depend on them, because the help you thought you might have from the family members that say they're going to chip in and don't put them in a nursing home, they're going to help. No. Okay. It's just, I'm speaking from experience. All right. And listen, my family, I love you, but y'all know I'm speaking truth. So like, be true to know, like, okay, if I am the person listed, if I'm stepping up to fulfill this duty, to fulfill this calling and this purpose, or this mission for this season, then I got to own it. And I don't even expect for others to help. So then if they do help, it's just an extra blessing, and wow, you have a relief. You have a bit of a relief. And so I see we got a lot of comments coming through. And so I am, I'm really, I want to give y'all so much in this time. So family may or may not help you. It's just unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay. But I also find that as much as you like to hire family, right, to be caregivers, because the way it works, and I actually just hooked up one of my sisters now to be able to help one of my aunts who is in need of caregiving a few times a week. And so the government will pay for a few times a week for her because her stuff is set up, right? And so the different agencies will actually hire a family member to do it, and you can actually be paid to do that. So if you're already doing caregiving and that person qualifies for Medicaid, you all need to look at the Department of Aging in your state and go through the application with the company that's providing the service, so that you can be assigned to your person that you're already loving on and caring for, and you can actually be paid for it. And so that is an option. But it's not always the best option, because just because they're family does not mean that they'll be a good caregiver. Everyone is not blessed with that gift, unfortunately, right? Some people acquire it. Some people learn it. Some people at least have patience for it. She said, tell it like it is. I'm living it. Oh, listen, ask your questions, because I love questions. Okay, Layla, please ask questions. And so with, having a family member do it, if you have someone that's good, great, right? And go ahead and go do the paperwork so they can be paid to do it, right? My mother did that for her mother, right? And she was doing that until my mother, my grandmother couldn't anymore. And she had to go to a nursing home. And so for me, my experience, so my one grandmother had Alzheimer's. My other grandfather, whom lived with me, had Alzheimer's that then progressed into dementia. And my grandmother now, who lives with me, has full-blown dementia with psychosis, okay? And so, and she's 83. And I ended up having to move her from Vegas here because I got tired of living in two places. It was a bit much on me. And then when she had a stroke, I had to stay there, because little did I know she had me on for everything, right? It was a surprise to me. I got a call that, she was in the hospital and they had locked her up in a mental institution. I had to go get my grandma out, okay? So I was in a whirlwind to do that. And I thought that it would be similar to my grandfather, because I was like, okay, I've dealt with this before. No, let me let you know. Every person is different, okay? And they will handle the disease differently. And what you have to remember is that, number one, they don't really know that they're sick. Number two, whatever decade they wake up in, whatever decade they wake up in, and I say that just like that because that is literally what happens, you have to go with it, okay? Don't argue. Don't feel like you're, I don't want to lie to them. Don't feel like you're, I don't know, just putting them on by not telling them like, well, no, you know, you don't work anymore. You're here. No, it doesn't help them. And I had to learn that, you know, through the fire. And thank goodness for the good caregivers that taught me that. Like, no, don't go back and forth with her. Don't banter. Don't try to bring her back to the real reality. Just go with the story. Go with the story. So you have to think about it like when you have a child. When you have a little child and they are in playtime and they're imaginary friends, or they're playing and making up a story, or y'all are, you know, I don't know what you're doing together, but it's playtime and you're going with the story. Okay, I don't have kids yet, one day, but definitely it's the same kind of thing. So with the elderly, you just have to go with the story, and that is not easy to do sometimes, right? So when they're sitting up here telling you like, this is not my house, I got to go, I got my bags packed, you know, take them to the airport, and you know good and well they lived with you for a year or more already. You got to kind of just go with the story. So I'll be like, oh my goodness, well, you know, you just came to visit me because you love me. I'm your favorite granddaughter. So, you know, can you stay a little while? Just a little while for me. You see, so I'm flipping it. My grandmother was a court reporter, and so she'll be like, Inez, I got to go to work. What are you doing? Come on, I have to go to work. I said, oh, okay, let's go. She ain't been at work in 35 years. I think she retired at like 50 or sooner. So no, she don't have to go to work, but I'm just going to go with the story, because if I don't go with the story and I try to tell her, well, no, you've lived here for 3 years. She's like, no, I don't. Because the decade that she woke up in, she goes back to wherever she lived at that time. And because she moved around, sometimes it's Nevada, sometimes it's San Francisco, sometimes it's Chicago, you never know. And so I learned to just go with whatever she says. So I wait for her to talk in the morning. I wait for her to say whatever's on her mind, because then I'll know what decade she's in and I can go with that. Because if you argue with them, or if you try to do what you think is right by telling them like, no, you live here, this is your home, all you're doing is upsetting them. All you're doing is frustrating them. All you're doing is making them mad, because in their mind, whatever they think is the truth and for real. And it's the definition of insanity for you as the same person to be arguing with a crazy person that you know is crazy. Nothing against them, but you know they're not in their right mind. So why would you go back and forth? And I had to teach not only caregivers that weren't as experienced with dementia patients, and even family members that weren't as experienced. I had to teach them how to be patient. Like, yeah, no, just let her say it. Yeah, we know that it's not right, but just let her say it. Don't correct her. Don't go back and forth, because then she's going to get mad, and then it's going to be a whole different thing. She says, yes, you have to go with the story. Get a mentor, someone who has experienced this before. Absolutely. And, you know, y'all feel free to reach out to me. I am more than happy to be a sounding board, because sometimes, you know, you got to get a little fuss out. Sometimes you got to get a little cry out. Sometimes, you know, you just need a break, literally. And it's okay. And take those breaks when you need it. What I found, because I was power of attorney for quite a few people, and then I was sick myself at most of the time, actually, throughout the last decade. Like, I was dealing with a serious illness. And so a sick person taking care of other sick people, I mean, it's a recipe for disaster. So I had to have help. And there was one time, I'll never forget it. I was laying in my hospital bed. One person I was power of attorney for was in another hospital that admitted. Okay, I was admitted. And my grandma was in another hospital admitted. And I was like, oh my God, if I'm out for the count, I can barely breathe right now, Lord. It's in your hands. That's all I remember saying. And I closed my eyes, and that's all I remember. So I woke up a couple of days later. Okay, and that's when I was like, ooh, I can't keep doing it like this. I can't keep trying to do it all. I have got to have help. And so then I hired a caregiver to go with my grandmother anytime she needed to go to the hospital or stay in the hospital. She was with her. The caregiver was with her. And this helped me so much. This freed me so much. This kept me from being sick, because I wasn't around all the germs in the hospital all the time with my, at the time, weak immune system. Now I'm completely healed. Thank you, Lord. But that was a really hard decision to make, right? Because, you know, it's more money going out. However, it was worth it for me. And it was honestly better for her, because then she has someone who's not burnt out. And she has an advocate, because sometimes in the hospitals, and no offense to the nurses or doctors watching, but sometimes elderly are taken advantage of in the hospital. Sometimes they're not treated the right way, and you won't know it if you're not there 24/7. But if I have somebody who's there 24/7, who's reporting back to me anything and making sure that they're on their job, they're going to be a little more attentive. And they were. Literally, that caregiver probably saved my grandmother's life a couple times in the hospital because of things that they were neglecting to do that she had to make them do. And so it is important, and don't be afraid to do that. Now, how you pay them. So if the person had money saved up, then great, right? If you can qualify for Medicaid for them, great, because that will pay for, I think the most is like 40 hours a week. You could also do an adult daycare. They have adult daycares, and it's a lifesaver just to have that break from 8 to 5 or 6 or whatever their hours are. And some of them go from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a lifesaver sometimes. And also you can, see who that might be good at this, that has a knack for caring for people and maybe would want to give you a break sometimes during the week. And you can barter services. Okay. There was a time where I was bartering products for somebody to come and help me. Right. Because I have dealt with this honestly since 2008 was my first grandparent that was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And at that time I was in college. So I just witnessed it, but I wasn't the full-time caregiver. Whereas then with my grandfather, you fast forward to like 2013, like, no, we lived together in the same household. And that's the other thing. Oh, Karita Taylor, she said, Inez, this is so important. Thank you so much. And I know, and it's not a normal topic that I would do, but I got so many questions, and my brain works like if I'm having the same conversation over and over again with different people, that means it's something that the world needs to hear. It's something that I should either share like this or write in a book, which I'm in the process of doing, and give it out to the world. And so someone else can learn from my trials and tribulations and testimonies. Because trust me, every day was not peachy keen. Okay, I had my good days, I had my bad days, I had my days I just had to walk away because I have been cursed out like a sailor. Let me let you know. Okay, can't nobody curse like my grandma can curse. And you have got to have tough skin. That's another one. You got to have tough skin because sometimes they say stuff that it digs, right? And so you have to remember, like, no, I can't snap back. No, I can't, take it to heart. Even though we're all human and you might take it to heart a little bit, please don't. Journal it out. Have a friend that you can call and vent it out with. And with my grandfather, one thing that he and I thought about the most was those freaking car keys. Baby. When you're in the first stages of dementia or Alzheimer's with them, where they have what we call lucid moments. Lucid meaning that they're in their right mind and they are, back to their old selves, or so you think. And then it's like, then they're gone again. And it's like, you don't know where they went, but they don't remember anything. And so it's unfortunate, but get good at noticing when the person you're caring for is in a lucid moment, because in that lucid moment, you can ask questions that you maybe needed to know, right? If there's something that you didn't find that you might know, they might remember it during a lucid moment. For me, I had to make a decision on changing arrangements that she had already had for how she wanted to be buried and where she wanted to be buried. And so I would ask her in lucid moments of different times of the day over the course of a couple of months. And I wanted to make sure that her answer was the same, because if her answer was the same, then I know that, okay, during lucid moments, she really means this and she's okay with that, because she saw a commercial on the TV for like burial or funeral or something. And she was like, we got to change where I'm going to be buried. We got to change it. And I didn't think she meant it, because she had told me that she had set that stuff up in advance. And that's another thing. You can get burial insurance. You can get policies. You can pay in advance now for plots, for casket, for everything. Okay. And that is something that you want to, look into, and it can be transferred. And so, and she had told me that a long time before she ever got dementia, that she had that set up. And so I was like, not sure that she really meant it. But then when I asked her several times in different lucid moments, when she was still having lucid moments, I realized she meant it. And she even explained it. She said, well, none of my family lives in Vegas. Everybody's here. Who will come to visit me after I'm gone if I'm all the way in Vegas? Right. So that's a rational explanation. That's you know what I mean? And so just be good to pay attention to those moments. Listen, this little phone was my best friend, because I would record. Right? Because sometimes you remember what you remember, but a recording is going to tell you the fact. And so record the times where they're lucid, record the stories, play it back, and then you can hear if you really heard what you thought you heard. And if they were consistent in their answers, then you know that that's what they really would want. Okay? Especially if you didn't get a chance to have those kind of conversations about would they want to be kept on life support or not? And if so, for how long? And that brings me to another paperwork I forgot to mention. But there's such thing as a living will and an actual last will and testament. Two different things that you have to have for the person and honestly for yourself, because a living will gives instructions for what to do in the event of, X, Y, and Z, whereas the last will and testament says what to do with your stuff after the fact. Okay. And so, and that will encompass the everything in the trust and all that stuff. And so back to my grandfather. Now, my grandfather and these keys, let me let you know, they do not like losing their independence. I mean, and honestly, who would? Put yourself in their shoes. You've been an adult for 50, 60, 80 years. You've been used to driving yourself everywhere, right? Okay, Dorothy says, I joined this late, but this topic is hitting me hard. Oh, listen, ask any question. I'm ready. I work good on the fly. And so, so you have to put yourself in their shoes for a little bit and realize that they have lost all their independence, because that's really what's happened. They've lost all their independence. And so that is a shell shock, right? And they might believe you sometimes. They might not believe you. They might think you're trying to take advantage of them and take all their money, or who knows what they're thinking, right? And so you definitely want to make sure you are journaling for your own self. But one thing I found was really helpful is I had the doctor print out a letter, okay, for my grandfather specifically, to tell him that he could no longer drive, because me and him fought about them car keys more than anybody. All right. He was pissed that he could not get in his car and drive, and he couldn't understand, And so I would, as much as I said it, it didn't matter. But when he read the letter from the doctor, then he calmed down, because he don't want to kill a kid. He don't want to, hurt anybody. Like, he has a heart, he had a conscience. And so then he thinks twice, and he sees it from a medical doctor or the doctor that he knew or remembers the name. Right. And so that letter was a godsend. Okay. And that was just something I came up with because I got so tired of having the same argument with him every day. Right. And because they don't realize this every day, they don't realize that they just said it 10 seconds ago. And so every day, all day, y'all are fussing about the same thing. But, it could drive a sane person crazy, to have to keep doing that. And so that was a simple, easy solution. Now you can do that same thing with the diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's, especially, because this one is catered more to that. But the caregiving and all the documents apply to anyone taking care of an elderly parent or grandparent, okay? Or sibling, right? Because, sometimes people are taking care of siblings, their aunts and stuff that didn't have kids, or uncles, or whoever it might be. Now with my grandma, this lady, I had to get 5. I had to get 5 different doctors to list out what was wrong, why she couldn't live by herself anymore, why she couldn't drive, why she had to take all these medicines. Because this lady was like, get me another opinion. I don't give a crap what he said. Get me another opinion. Okay. And that is really her true nature, because honestly, I probably need to give her credit for this. She's probably one of the people that helped to, dang near saved my life, because she was the person, when she was sane, that told me when I was in the hospital and they couldn't figure it out, to get out of that hospital and go somewhere else and get another opinion. So I know that she really meant it when she wanted another opinion. And so that's why I was like, okay, well, we went to the top premier place for all of the dementia, which is the Cleveland Clinic. And I had them, I had her regular. So I got her 5 different opinions and 5 different letters that I had, so that she would know, like, okay, yeah, we did that. Right. Because every time she would ask me, I'm just like, we did that already, but she don't believe me. And it also helped me to play recordings of herself to her. All right. So that's why these recordings, they're not just for you. They're for them too. Because my lovely grandmother, especially in Vegas, and now if you're in a place where you're responsible for them, but you're not living in the same house with them, I highly recommend you put cameras up everywhere. I had cameras everywhere. Anytime, any moment, I could go to my phone and I could see exactly what they was doing and where they was doing. And if you do want, you can make it so you can listen in too. Okay. With my grandmama. All right. So they knew they was being watched. I wasn't going for the okie doke, but that was an expense, right? That was an extra expense for the cameras to be installed, an extra expense for, to monitor it monthly. And, I have to actually look at it and then, get alerts. But this little lady got so mad with one of those caregivers. I mean, she was not having it, and she kicked her own front door down. I was like, Jesus, be offense. I'm all the way in Chicago. She in Vegas kicking doors down. They can't handle it. I literally sat down with the owner Okay, the one who took it over from the original owner of Visiting Angels. And, that's the premier caregiving company in all the United States. All right, they are the cream of the crop, the top of the top, and they are expensive. We paid them a good grip of money for 24/7 caregiving, okay? He called me, he sat me down, we met face to face when I flew to Vegas, and he was like, if my company can't handle your grandmother, no one can. I recommend you put her in a mental institution. I'll send you a letter to that effect. I'm going to give you all your money back, which is a nice chunk of change. And he did, and I was like, oh, Lord, this lady. But what I found is that she would get more irate and defensive and nasty and just everything when I left. Okay? Because I was the person she was familiar with. And even if she didn't recognize that I was her granddaughter, she knew that she knew me. She'd be like, oh, yeah, girl, we've been friends forever. Girl, I know you my granddaughter. Well, aren't you my daughter or something? Aren't you my cousin? You something to me, aren't you? So she was recognizing that she was familiar with me, even if she didn't remember how we related, or even if she didn't remember my name per se, right? And so it was a journey, because she was uncontrollable, whereas my grandfather was a little, combative about the car keys, not being able to drive himself. But other than that, he was, kind of chill. He just kept forgetting, right? Two different types of dementia, two different people, two different experiences. And for her, even when she, well, let me just say this. If they had a vice before the dementia, it is it'll be in your best interest to detox them from that vice, okay? And y'all should know what I'm saying. So I had to detox, okay, from all vices, and that helped to calm her down. We had to hide all the knives, all the scissors, all of the weapons, everything had to be hidden, okay? Because you are taking out the house completely, because you just never know. Like when they snap, they snap. She had scratched me up. She had, been in the driveway naked. She done left the house, and they had to find her, and they will roam. Now that's something. Okay, so for the roaming, I had to make sure that I had an alarm system that will go off, of course, if the door is open, and you know how it gives you those seconds to beat before you put the thing in, and if it doesn't clear, then you the big alarm goes off. Well, there's also a setting for the alarm where if a specific door is open, or during a specific date and time that that a door is open, it can instantly go off with the big loud alarm. All right, and so that's what I did for times I knew the door shouldn't be open, or this specific door should never be open. And so that helped, because she was a runner, whereas my grandfather was not, but she was trying to get gone. Okay. And, and she, so it took a little bit to adjust, but when you change the setting for someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, it really impacts them more than you know. And so don't change the setting if you could avoid it, right? Keep them in the same place. Keep them with things that they're familiar with, furniture, painting, stuff that they've had their whole lives, or at least most of it, right? Keep that kind of stuff around them so that they can recognize it, hopefully. Try not to move them or change out caregivers too frequently. That was another thing I realized was an issue, because she required 24/7 care. And I was using a company. It wasn't like it was one set person that was doing it. There were people doing, at first they had 6-hour shifts, and 8-hour shifts, and 12-hour shifts, right? And so, and then as much as we would try to keep it to a few people a week, it ended up being several, because that's a extensive load, right? And then she had medicines that had to be kept up with, and so I had to have a nurse that came to her. Oh, that's another one. You can get a nurse and a doctor that will come to their home. And so visiting physicians is one I enjoy. And they will come to you for that person, and it goes through your insurance, so it really minimal cost. And even if they need blood work, even if they need urine samples, whatever they need, like they will do that. They will send someone to the house to take that. And even different techs, they have been able to bring the machines here and do them. And so and so that helps a lot, because you don't have to leave out as much to the hospital unless it's like a specialist or the yearly checkup. But even the yearly checkup you don't have to do, because the doctor comes to you. And so that's something that I recommend. I had it in both locations. for my grandmother. And so now one thing I found is that when, she was in an irate, state or what have you, if, the letter won't calm her down, or, a recording's not working to play for her, and I can't like tell a joke or something and get her laughing, just try to snap her emotions and her energy, then they need to go to sleep. They need to go to sleep and wake up again. And don't ask me the science behind why it works. I have no idea, but I just know it works. And so let me let you know, NyQuil became my best friend. NyQuil. And the purple pill is selling at Walgreens or whatever your equivalent to Walgreens is, because I know we got people from all over watching. And sometimes that was necessary, because I would find when they would go to sleep and then wake back up, it was like we're starting the day over again, and we'll just see what decade she wakes up in now. And so that helped a lot, right? Now, sometimes, and I went through this phase where they don't want to take any pills. So then you have to get pill crushers, or you have to get liquid versions of the things that they need to take. And some pills actually aren't supposed to be crushed. So you need to ask your physician, right? But that pill crusher, mix it with some orange juice or something else, because, she had diabetes for the most part. Now, we've been able to get her off of all of the high blood pressure medicine, all of the diabetes medicine, and she used to have to do injections for the diabetes, and she doesn't have to do that anymore. So I know that a lot of the holistic health stuff that I've done with her has tremendously helped. And it has to do with, one, getting rid of vices, two, the water you drink, which I'll talk about in a different line, but the water is so important. And then just different supplements. And so there's one that I think works wonders that everybody, sick or not sick, should be on. It's called Pro-arginine. And I'll put a link in the comments afterwards. But what it does is it actually cleans out your blood cells. And I literally had her cardiologist, specialist surgeon brought me into the back of the place where guests aren't even supposed to be, to show me the computers and to ask me what I had been doing, because he had never seen anybody clear up like she had. Because at one point she had like 100% blockage in certain arteries. And then a year later, we finally went in for the surgery because the people kept calling. And I was like, all right, fine. And when they did the scans, it was clear. Like the one was completely clear. The other one had cleared up like 20-30%. And so he couldn't believe it, because it's not supposed to be able to happen once an artery is clogged. And I told him, Pro-arginine, doc. Let me show you where it is on your physician's desk. Okay, Alicia, hey, she said, I'm late, but I'm so proud of you, my friend. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you. Love you. And Alicia was on when we talked about homeschooling. So if you missed that episode, go back and watch our homeschooling episode, especially with all this e-learning. Y'all might want some of the tips that they gave for homeschooling, okay, your children. But yeah, so the doctor brought me to the back of the office and was trying to figure out what I was doing. And Pro-arginine is something that is in the physician's reference desk. So any doctor can look it up in the back office and see what medicines they can give with it or without it, what it does. But it really works miracles. And so not only did her arteries clear up, but she was able to get off all her high blood pressure medicine. And she didn't have any problems with what was causing her pain before with the blockages. She had stopped having them. And so, and then her internal medicine doctor couldn't believe her numbers had gone from her AC1, I think it's called, where it's like the average of what your sugar is over like the past, I don't know, I think it's 6 months when they take it from your blood. It's supposed to be, I think, between 5 and 6, and hers had been at 9. Right. And so at 8 and 9 is when you start having to do the injections, not just pills. And so he couldn't believe that she had gotten down to 5 steadily, and that she hadn't been in the hospital, because there was a time where she was in the hospital. Every time I looked up, she was in the hospital. And so making those kind of health changes for them, because you are able to do that. You're in control of what they eat. You're in control of what they ingest, their medicines, like you are in control of that as power of attorney for their health, or as the primary caregiver. And so my mother, I got to give her a lot of credit for this part, because when she took over doing caregiving and learned how to, deal with someone with dementia and have a little more patience, she also changed the diets, and she gives her salads. And I invested in an alkaline machine. And if you don't know, alkaline water is one of the best waters you can drink. I think In my rankings, coconut water is the best, then alkaline water, then Kangen water, then it would be spring water, then it would be electrolyte water, and then it would be filtered water, then it'll be tap water, and then it'll be purified water. So for all y'all drinking that purified, let me let you know you are hurting your body more than you know. And if you're giving it to the elderly, please stop, okay? Just throw it away. It's no good for you, okay? Google it and you'll see why. But anyhow, the alkaline machine means that she's always getting alkaline water, and our bodies internally are acidic, right? And so the alkaline levels vary, and having it balanced helps with the progression of everything. When you get rid of the blockages with the proarginine in your blood, it helps to clear up everything. And so she's actually, quite honestly, been having more lucid moments now than she did before, where like she's actually remembering the dog's name, and she don't even like dogs. Okay, she's remembering my name. She's remembering, to stand up and clear her plate. She's even getting the urge to go back to the bathroom, to know that she has to go to the bathroom. And they told me that wasn't possible for that urge to come back once she lost that and, couldn't feel when she had to go anymore, that it was just gone. The incontinence is what it's called. And so listen, let me let you know, the earth has a cure for everything. All right. And I got a song that talks about that. But anyway, so there's a lot of different little things that you can do to help. But the most important thing is to make sure that you are taking care of you, and that you're doing the best that you can to take care of them and their finances and their wishes, right? Whatever they wanted to have happen, that you are putting that and implementing that in place, and that you're watching. And so I found that I had to kind of coach and train caregivers. When she got a new caregiver, I had to be a little hands-on. I had to, let them know what to do, what not to do, right? She's definitely afraid of needles. So anytime it came time to draw blood, this little tiny lady that weighs only 100-something pounds, it takes 3 or 4 of us to hold her to get some blood drawn, okay? I'm talking, it's an experience. So we found that if we don't say the word blood, she doesn't freak out as much. We just kind of got to surprise her with it and have everything ready, and don't let her see that it's coming. And so, just little tips and tricks that you can pick up on. One thing I do feel that I got really good with is understanding and recognizing her emotions, right? And even to the point of her facial expressions. And because there were maybe 3 caregivers that I had to let go, right? And I always forewarn all the caregivers that they have to have thick skin with her, because she will curse you out like a sailor and forget 5 minutes later. And while you still mad, she's trying to laugh and watch a movie. Okay. So you have to learn to let things go. But there were 3 that I let go. One of them was a family member that just wasn't working out. And I found out some things were going on that shouldn't have been going on from my lovely camera when I was out of town, and they thought I wasn't watching. Okay, so bye-bye, right? Another one was that it was in a time where we were in a transition. Oh, I didn't finish saying that. So when you move someone, like if you have to physically move, like I had to move her across country, or if you move houses, or you move them from their house to your house, any move is traumatic for a person with Alzheimer's or dementia. And it will take you at least 3 months to reacclimate them, to get them back to being calm. All right. I also found that anytime that they are given an antibiotic from the doctor, some kind of way, it triggers the not nice part of the disease. Okay. And so Jocelyn says, I agree. Oh yes. Plant-based everything with a lot of water has helped, and even given her energy. Good thing and a bad thing. Why you say it's a bad thing, Jocelyn? Good evening, Rose Gold. And so I definitely recommend that. Okay, so back to what I was saying. If you move them, it takes about 3 months to reacclimate. And so really be cognizant of that. If they end up going to the hospital, that counts as a move. If they have to stay in a nursing facility to recover from a fall or something, that counts as a move. They are reacclimating for what their normal is, and that is traumatic. And I was saying that the antibiotic, for some reason, that seems to trigger it too. And so, just be cognizant and cautious of that, and be more patient and prepare yourself mentally for that transition when you move them. And so for my grandmother, when she was having the constant change of caregivers, And she was a woman who was used to living alone and doing everything for herself. And so to have all these strangers in her house, it just wasn't going over well. And so every time I would leave, she would just get irate with everybody else, and even when I was there, she was crazy with me too, but they say not as bad, right? And so when I realized, like, okay, well, she does better when she sees me. So how can I make it? Am I going to move to Vegas or is she going to come here? So I ended up moving her here. And, that's where we're at. But and my Vegas care team that I had hand selected was amazing. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. If y'all are watching or y'all watch it later. But even the caregivers here, you have to like coach and train them. Are you having the person with dementia? Just because they have dementia doesn't mean they don't have feelings. Just because they have dementia doesn't mean that they don't still know how to do things, right? And so how can you include them in cooking, right? One thing I think my mother does great with my grandmother now is like she'll help if we're doing fresh green beans, she'll have her break the green beans because, you can't mess up breaking the green bean and then they're going to go in the pot and be boiled, right? And so when I'm with her and we're making a salad, I put all of the salad stuff on the table. She'll be sitting across from me. And then I was like, okay, grab your salad. How much salad you want? She put her salad on the plate. Grab your tomatoes, so that they're still actually actively doing things, right? For getting dressed. Like, you don't want to start doing everything for them because if you do that, then they're going to get used to you doing everything for them and you're going to have to do everything for them. And as long as you can keep them walking, you want to keep them walking. As too. Oh, and a walker is with the seat is the best thing ever. Now, we also have that electric chair thing, but the physical therapist said that it's not good to use it until she absolutely needs it. And you can have physical therapists and occupational therapists come to your home for them if need be. And so that was great. Plus the nurses to fill the pill box or to teach you how to do it. And then the doctors. And so with reacclimating, it can be a little interesting. But I lost my train of thought there. But anyway, so my grandmother it's been a journey. It's been a journey. But overall, I feel like I've learned that patience is important. Patience is a virtue, that you have to give yourself some grace. You have to have forgiveness in your heart for the things that they say that won't hurt you. Oh, the caregivers having tough skin. Yeah, you got to make sure the caregivers have tough skin, and you can include them whenever you can. So if they can help you cook, or they can kind of prepare their own meal, put their own toppings on their taco or pizza, just something simple, right? Let them do that with you. And I was very adamant to make sure that the caregivers didn't let her sit and watch TV all the time, that they had hours where they played music. Now, music is important, and you'll be surprised how many lyrics they will remember if you let them hear music, especially the kind they used to like and from their time, their era, right? And so music is good. Also, reading. They can still read. You can do, what did we do? We did it's like a craft book where you would put like cards in, or you could like put little thing. What do you call it? This? I don't know what it's called right now, but it's like a little sketchbook and you can put things in. Okay, Jocelyn says, my grandmother is late stages of dementia. So now she doesn't want help, even though she doesn't understand from moment to moment. It's harder to get her to fall asleep at night. And I wakes up bad/hard things. Okay, yes. Well, I said that earlier, Jocelyn. That NyQuil pill, and it also comes in liquid form, is purple. For sleep, that's the best thing. Okay. And then there's also prescription medicine that, can help calm them down. If she's too anxious, there's one that can calm you down. And I can message you about that because, I don't know what the laws are about me giving prescriptions out, but there are different things. But I found that NyQuil is over the counter and it works. Okay. It works. And so let them help you. She said, you're so naturally captivating. That's my girl. Oh, I love you, Tiffany. Scrapbook. Yes, Alicia. Thank you, my friend. That's the word. Scrapbook. You can scrapbook with them. You can even get some of the toys for like the blocks to fit them in the right spots. You can get crayons. You can get coloring books with color pencils. You can get like things that they keep their brain moving. You want to keep their brain working as long as it's going to work, right? You want to keep them reading out loud to you. One thing my grandmother loves to say, A, A. So we started just saying B. And then she's like, what? I'm like, what comes next? She's like, C. I'm like, D. And then we would go through the whole alphabet. And sometimes she would not be able to get through the whole alphabet. Sometimes she could. But what am I doing? I'm exercising her brain muscle for the memory of the alphabet, right? Sometimes I'll have her write, like my sister had a birthday recently. I had my grandmother write the card, because one, I want to see how much she's still remembering and if she could still spell without me helping her, if her handwriting's still legible, and it was. And I spelled out maybe one word for her in the whole card, and that was it. And she was able to do it. And so, keep them active as long as you can keep them active and doing those things and helping out, because it makes them feel a little more wanted. Now, one thing, my grandmother, we thought about the car. But, she's a little bougie. I get it honest. And so I just tell her, she's like, why can't I drive my own car? Right? Because she recognizes her car, which we kept one of her cars. And so I was like, girl, you worked hard your whole life. You don't need to drive anymore. You got a chauffeur. Where you want to go? Where you want to go? Okay. So then we go. She want to go to the movie. She want to go out for dinner. Whatever she want to do. Okay. She worked hard. I want her to enjoy her last years, right? Or if I can't do it, then the caregiver or somebody else is going to take her to do it. And so, but you see how I flipped the script, right? Instead of arguing with why she couldn't drive or having to pull out the letter to say she can't drive, I just learned to just, hey, make it fun, make her feel like she just extra special, she's like, I can do my own hair. Girl, why do you want to do your own hair? And I got somebody that comes to the house for you to do it. Why would you even want to do it? You can get pampered. Okay. You see, so I'm flipping the script anytime I can. Montessori manipulative are good too. Oh, thank you, Alicia. Thank you. And so a lot of different things that just to help to keep the brain going is really anything you can do to keep them active and doing just the mundane tasks, brushing their teeth and washing their hands after. I found that if I leave the water on in the bathroom, she'll remember to go and wash her hands after the bathroom versus when we don't, and sometimes she can remember to help her do, take care of herself in the bathroom. Sometimes she needs help. Right now, this is the other thing, and I know we're coming up around our time. I don't know why, but it is just a fact that when they get older, they get scared of water. And it's every person I have ever talked to, every nurse, every caregiver, every doctor, just said it's just a thing that happens. They start to develop a fear of water. Because my grandmother went from being like a bath person to not wanting to get in the bath, to not even wanting to get in the shower, to us fighting to get her in the shower, to us fighting to wash up at the sink, right? They end up getting a fear of water. And so, and you are like, no, we got to get you in the tub. But just know that, they don't have to do a shower every day like you would do or like you're used to. Like they can do sponge baths. You can wash them up at the sink or have them wash themselves up at the sink. If you haven't like handicapped your bathroom, you definitely want to do that. You want to get the higher seat on the toilet with the handles, okay? So they can sit down. Make sure that the tissue is where they can reach it. With the Depends and the underwear, we keep it right next to her so that if she does remember to take off the wet one and she grabs the other one, it's just like her putting on underwear, right? And a little trick for if you're dealing with someone with incontinence, put a maxi pad inside that Depend, okay? Because let me let you know, it will save you some money on these stupid Depends because them things aren't cheap. They're more expensive than the baby diapers. And you go through a lot of them, but putting that maxi pad in actually helps to not go through as many. And sometimes different insurances will cover it. Sometimes you got to pay out of pocket. It just depends. And also with the water, just get the shower chair, right? And the handle that can go on the wall. So just different things to have safety precautions. And, ideally, you have to be careful of the slip factor. If there are rugs in the bathroom, take them out, because that's an easy accident waiting to happen. And what we did find is that you cannot have them in, especially like my grandmother, in the nylon stockings. Like when we would put her Uggs on her, Uggs, you usually wear a thin stocking, right? But if we forget to take the stockings off and then she goes to try to walk real fast, she's going to fall, right? And that happened one time when I was out of the country, and then I banned everybody from being able to ever put stockings on her anymore ever again. But they do have socks that have the what's that called? The rubber stuff, like the hospital socks, right? They have the grip. Now, with slippers, you have to be careful what kind of slippers you get them, right? Don't get them the kind that can easily flop off if they get caught. They have to, they not be slide-ins. They need to have a covering. So it's just little things that you would think don't matter that make a difference and can, you know, save you some trips to the hospital and them too, right? And so with doing it, you just got to do it out of love. You got to do it with grace. You have to know when you need a break, and you need to schedule your breaks. Even if you think you don't need a break, schedule one anyway. You'll be glad you did, because you have to take care of you. If your family helps, great. If they, and sometimes it's better for it not to be a family member, because you don't have to worry about the backlash of firing them. And that's what I was telling y'all about that I fired. I fired 3 people. One I told you was a family member. The other one was when we were in transition from Vegas to Chicago. And my grandmother, you know, when I had come, she was like, her face was like I had never seen it before. And her energy and her emotions were of fear almost. And she's like, please don't ever leave me again. I was like, what? She's never said that to me. She's never said, please don't ever leave me again. I'm like, what the hell does this girl do? And at the hotel at that time, we were in transition when I was moving, you know, so I didn't have cameras in there, although I should have, you know, bought one from Walmart or something. But I fired that lady the next day because I don't know what she did, but I know whatever it was, my grandmother was not happy. Now, the other person that we had to let go was in Vegas. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome, Elva. In Vegas, this one just was off. And this time, my grandmother and I had gotten so good with it, we could have a whole conversation with just our facial expressions without saying a word. Okay. And we legit fired a caregiver through facial expressions because she was like, you know, get this lady out of here. Basically, the look she gave me, like, and I'm like, why? You know, and she's like, I'm like, okay, so now I'm paying attention. I'm watching, you know, and then I realized the lady was just off. Something was off. She was a little scatterbrained. It was the first time she had ever come. It was her first day. She was new. And we started trying to have a conversation. And my grandma was actually keeping up with the conversation. And next thing we know, this lady's taking it to another place. And my grandmother looked at me like, I told you, get this lady out of here. And I was like, okay, she'll be gone tomorrow. You know, like we legit fired her and didn't say a word. We legit like just had facial expressions. And so, but that's because I took time to pay attention to learn her facial expressions, to learn her energy, and to be able to, you know, and her emotions. So that way I could tell if something was off or if she was just being extra, because there were times where she was just acting like somebody was just like, you know, doing the most when really they weren't. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to use your own discretion. Go trust your gut. You will know best. Okay. Trust your gut. And I don't care if family's happy or not happy. If you were the person that this person entrusted to be over their life, don't take that lightly. And I can't curse, but forget what anybody else has to say. Okay. Seriously, because they're not in the trenches with you. They're not here helping you. They're not the one that's, you know, at the hospital, at the doctor's office, up at the middle of the night, dealing with caregivers, paying different kind of bills. They're not helping you with that. So why do they get the benefit to complain? Why do they have the privilege to have a say? If they ain't taking on the brunt of the work, they ain't giving you a break even for a couple of hours, get gone. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn, because I really did want to be inclusive and, you know, kind of keep my family in the loop. Forget it. She was smart. She ain't put them on for a reason. Okay. She trusted me. I'm gonna honor this mission. And that's what I've been doing. And oh my God, our hour flies by. It flies by. And so, I miss you too, Lisa. Oh my goodness. I love y'all. I just love y'all. And so that's, if you all have questions, go ahead and type them. If you have any other comments, and if you're watching later, I do want you to put #replay. And I'm sure I'm going to think of something I forgot to tell y'all. So I guess I'll have to do a part 2, and maybe we'll go more into the health stuff with that one. But I do believe that taking care of anyone who is sick and being a caregiver is a labor of love. And you have to plan ahead as much as you can. You have to understand that everything's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Be flexible. You know, every day is different with someone with dementia. You never know what you're going to get. So just roll with it. You just roll with it. And if it's too much for you to handle, take a break. Hey, Shakira, so awesome, needed this. Oh, I love you. That's my pledge out of y'all, one of them. and so, it's important, and don't be afraid to cry, because sometimes you have to cry it out. Like, emotions are real, and you got to just let them happen and come through, because it can be frustrating. It's hard to see someone you love digress in this way. It's not easy, right? Especially if you're really close to them, right? Quite honestly, I feel like I got closer to both of these grandparents having been their caregiver way more than we ever were when they were in their right mind, okay? So, you never know. Like, just take this opportunity to enjoy the time. Take a lot of pictures and videos and recordings. She said, I'm starting to get tired and need more resources for self-care. Yes, Jocelyn. I don't know if you came in at the beginning, but I shared quite a few different tips for how to get more help and different ways to do it. But self-care, you just have to take it. You have to take it. Like, you have to take the weekend. You have to take the day. You have to take a week if you need. I don't care. Whatever you need, you have to take it. And you have to plan it every month. Every month, you should have at least a day, if not a whole weekend, that you have just for you. Okay? Because your body, your mental needs it. And I want to share a couple of my upcoming events. This is such a good topic. Like, I could talk for hours if y'all can't tell. Like, I have so many stories, but don't worry, I'm gonna put it in a book. But I want to share with y'all, since our hour is here, my upcoming events, okay? And so Saturday, y'all join us, me and my sister sales directors. We are doing a beautiful business. And so if you're watching, please be a guest and get some information, get some facts on the business and how we can make 6 and 7 figures, right? And so you have the ability of unlimited income, and how you can watch it is there. And so you can watch a number of ways. And I actually found out something new that we can do with Facebook to give you a shorthand. And so I want to share this at the bottom of the screen, is that you can do facebook.com/Inez K Jones MK for all of my Mary Kay related events. And then you can do the other one for my Inez K Jones events, all right? And so this one, you see, y'all saw Style Guru Cordero. He had commented earlier. He's going to be one of the speakers. We got God's Gift, E-Dub. We got Sammy Elliott, Kira McCown, and Danita Sajus. We have Noemi Robinson, Mark Christmas, and Danielle Marie. So I'm bringing them back, y'all. Y'all saw them on different lives when we had the women and then when we had the men. And now I'm bringing them together because we're going to get it in on our dating and courting topic, finding a mate for your nest. Okay, so tune in, come with your questions. All right, it's gonna be great. And then next up, y'all know every fourth Thursday, I actually sing for you all. And so I'm gonna bring y'all a fantastic singer. He's actually my first cousin, Mr. Joshua Breckenridge, y'all. Oh, he is a singer. He actually performs on Broadway in New York. And so we are going to sing for y'all. We're going to do a couple of duets, and it'll be a night of music and a little information, of course, about how it is working on Broadway and things. And so tune in. Every fourth Thursday, we do music, and every other Thursday, we get it in on different topics. And I do take topic requests, but it's our Thursday thing at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time each week. And then next, for my Makeup Mondays, you can join us on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we teach y'all makeup tricks and tips, okay? And so the 7th, we did a natural look. The 14th, we're doing flawless finish. And then on the 21st, we're doing a special Mary Kay look with a color card. And then on the 28th, we're doing luscious lips, and we're going to show y'all an ombre look. And then also, of course, I shared with you all on Saturday the 12th, we're having a guest event where we'll share the marketing information and a little facts about how you can make money with Mary Kay. And you can work it digitally. You can work it from home. You can make it an extra stream of income or multiple streams. And so I'm always passionate about sharing with you all. And last but not least, I want to share with you all my new group. If you haven't joined my Breaking Belief Barriers group, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. It's a Facebook group. It is still new, and I am really excited to show you all the flyer real quick. We're going to bring it up here in a second. My tech team is amazing. And I love helping people to break through the limiting beliefs, to break through whatever is holding you back, to break through and to become your best self, to fulfill your mission, your purpose, because your mission and your purpose are not the same on this earth. And that is it right there. And so you can see the information about it. And I'm excited, and you can join it via Facebook. So just type it in. Breaking Belief Barriers is the name of the group. And it is for all entrepreneurs, all people, right? And I give tips every day, and then I'm going live in there tomorrow and training on some things. And so it's going to be amazing. And do we have any more comments before I wrap this up tonight? Okay, Lisa says, I missed it all, but I'm going to visit my mother this month because she's been alone all year by herself. I must fly to Florida. I have to check on her in person. I know that's right, Lisa. Go check on your mama. Go check on your mama. And she says, and you can watch the replay, Lisa. She said, wow, this is awesome. Oh, Maureen, thank you. Thank you. I really do hope and pray that something that I said helps you. Hey, Teddy, did you see me and Josh going to be singing, girl? That's my auntie. We're going to be singing on the 4th Thursday, the 24th. So tune in. Dorothy Harris says, will you have a replay of this? Yes. And she's watching from YouTube. Woo! Subscribe, hit that notification bell on my YouTube channel, baby. Pam says, hey, Inez, we'll plan for Thursday. She loves music. Yes. Thank you. And I love you too, Tanny. And yes, there is a replay. You can replay it however you're watching it. You'll be able to watch the replay the same way. So if you're watching from YouTube, you can watch it there. If you're watching from one of my groups, you can watch it there. If you're watching from my @Inez K Jones page, you can watch it from there. And so the replay is available. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking an hour and 10 minutes with me, because I don't take anyone taking the time to be here lightly at all. And I know that you could be doing a lot of different things, but you decided to spend some time here with me. And so I'm so grateful. And I really do hope that something that I shared, it was beneficial to you. I will put a lot of the things I recommended in, like the people, the places, the supplements. I'll put it in the comments, because I know that you might want the information, and it's easy if you could just click on it. And if you have another topic that you want me to dive in on, please tell me. I've been doing all kinds of topics, okay? We have a wide range. We have talked about money. We've talked about credit. We've talked about home-based businesses. We've talked about dating and courting in this COVID world, in this digital age. We've talked about dementia. We've talked about living with rare illnesses. We sing. Listen, we do a little bit of everything. And then, of course, I do my Mary Kay, right? And we do some makeup. And now we'll be sharing the business with you. And I'm going to start doing that event in English, and then I'll be doing one in Spanish. For my Spanish speakers, y'all get ready, okay? Get ready. And so I'm so thankful. I do hope that Elva says, I look forward to replaying. I need your info desperately. Oh, absolutely. I think I shared a whole lot. I kind of was a little bit all over the place, but you'll get the gist of it. Lisa says, amen, Inez. Inez is an information bank. You gonna make me cry, Lisa? Yes, I do have a wealth of information. And so listen, that's why my brand strategist was like, your hashtag is #Inez knows, okay? And I was like, don't this sound a little cocky? She's like, but it's the truth. You have a lot of information about a lot of different things at a young age, and you're about to share it with the world. So that's what it is. And that is what it is. And so I definitely just want to share so that it can help you to be your best self and to take care of your loved ones, especially with this specific topic of taking care of an elderly, especially if they have Alzheimer's or dementia. And so just keep trucking. Just know you're not alone. There are other people that are in the same situation, and reach up, talk to someone, especially if it's someone who's been through it before, because they can maybe relate a little bit better. And know that you are enough. God did not put more on you than you can bear. And you got this. You got this. And you were chosen for a reason. And this is a mission. It's a small part of your journey. But do it with honor and grace and love. And I want y'all to listen to my song on the way out. Y'all listen to my song, Secret Place, that is going to play in the outro. And y'all tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a fantastic evening.